What is up, YouTube? This is the Duel Factory once again with another deck profile. This time I will actually be bringing you a Shiranui zombie deck profile. For those of you who actually know me, zombies is one of my favorite decks to play. In Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the most fun I've ever had playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Whenever I picked up zombies the first time, and when Mizuki came back to 2 and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. This time it has the new Shiranui stuff in it. To be perfectly honest, this deck is fun. This deck's fun, but I had more fun playing the Destiny Hero version of this. And also the Destiny Hero version of it is more consistent than this. But for this deck, that Synchro Monsters, the level 8 guy is really good, and I like the level 6 guy too. And then the Tuner is really good. The Trap card would be phenomenal, but you have to play Shirainuis to actually use the Trap card, so you couldn't just put it as a generic zombie support. But this deck's a lot of fun. I wanted to show it to you guys because I've had a lot of fun playing it. So, on to the deck profile. For the Shiranui stuff, we actually run a small count. We play 2 of the Tuner, 2 Spectral Sword. This is almost identical to Plague Spreader Zombie. The only real difference is that it's a fire attribute type monster, and it's a little bit beefier, but other than that, that's the only difference. His effect is, he's like Blackwing Vayu, however, the monster's effect isn't negated. So, during the turn, other than the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this and 1 zombie type monster in your graveyard to special summon from your extra deck any zombie monster whose level equals the number of total stars that you banished. So, you can use this to summon any zombie monster, and it's not treated as a synchro summon, so some people have been playing Zombie Archfiend Skull. I play Revive King Hades because I just think it has a little bit more utility than the actual Archfiend Skull. But this is a really good tuner, and this could be generic zombie support. Like, if I play Destiny Hero Zombies, I'd probably play one of this because it's a really good tuner for that Soul's purpose. Then we play 2 Spirit Master. He's Cold Soldier Wolfbart for Shirainuis, but they're banished the turn they leave the field. Which Shiranui monsters gets effect when they're banished anyway. So, for example, this one, when he's banished, he can pop any face-up card. So, in tandem with the Trap card that they have, it turns a Icarus attack into a Fire Lake, which is really good. But the card has to be face-up. Keep that in mind. And we play 1 Shiranui Samurai and 1 Smith. Their banished effects are kind of unique. When Shiranui Samurai is banished, you can target a Shiranui monster in your graveyard, add it back to your hand, so you can add back like your Spirit Masters and whatnots, and that's real good. And this one's really good against Cosmos too, because whenever he in the battle phase, what you can do is you can banish a monster, a zombie type monster from your graveyard, and the monster gains, this guy gains 600 attack, and then at the end of damage calc, the card's banished, it doesn't target, so it gets past the spaceships. And then Shiranui Smith, whenever you use him for a synchro summon, he can search any Shiranui card, so he can search the Trap card. And then whenever he's banished, the turn that he is banished, zombie monsters can't be destroyed by battle, so he goes real well in tandem with Shiranui Samurai, because you'll take 600 damage versus Dark Destroyer, but you'll keep your monster and it banishes it. And that's all for the Shiranui cards. Like I said, it's a real small engine. The Spirit Master's the best one by far, but like I said, the support's not bad, it's lackluster compared to all the other zombie cards. And then for like the generic zombie support, you play 3 of the best zombie, which is Unizombie. He's a 3-star tuner that Foolish Burials from your deck, or you can discard from your hand to increase the level. So he can go from a 3-star tuner to a 5-star tuner if you need it, but most commonly you just do 4 stars, because level 8 synchros are the most powerful and that's the easiest for this deck to make. The only downside about using his effect is the turn you use it, the Foolish Burial effect anyway, only zombie type monsters can attack. So your bigger monsters aren't all necessarily zombies, but turn 1 it's the best card to open because it gets you established. And then, for some of the older cards, 3 Mizuki, it's the best zombie by far. When it's in the graveyard, you banish it, Monster Reborn, or a zombie card. It gets all your combos going. In this deck, I only play 1 Zombie Master. Some people play 2, but I honestly feel like if you play, in this particular build, if you play more than 1, it just clogs. Because it's searchable through Goblin Zombie, and it does the same exact thing as Spirit Master. The only thing is he can target any zombie. So, I mean, that's the only difference, but I still only play 1. And then I play 2 Goblin Zombie. It's the only floater that zombies really have. It's kind of lackluster now because the formats are so fast. But Goblin Zombie, he searches everything in the deck that is basically a zombie. And then the only other card I do play is the 3 copies of Raiden. A lot of zombie decks play this regardless because it mills, and it's also a 4-star tuner, and it's really good with Norden. But like it gets your graveyard going, and that's how zombies play. They don't play with a hand, they play with a graveyard. On to the spells. I do play 1 Burial. This is mandatory for any zombie deck you play. Even though this deck makes Omegas and stuff like that, it's mandatory because it's the best top deckable card in late game. 3 Upstarts. Your deck needs its combo pieces to go off. and this deck minuses a lot, but it plays from the graveyard, so the sooner you can establish it, the better it is. I play 2 Instant Fusion, a lot of zombie decks. I feel like there should be a 3 of in the deck. However, with a cramped extra deck, you only really have room for 1 Norton, and you can put it back with Omega. So, that, and you're also milling, so you're not always going to see this card, but Instant Fusion's really good in zombies. It would have been a lot better if we still had Lavalval Chain, but we don't, so. For the other cards, we play 2 Charged with Light Brigade. We only have 3 targets, but like I said, you want to establish your graveyard as soon as possible, and this card helps you do it, even though you only play 3 targets. Plus, you also side a Lila, so it's like it's a good generic Rhoda for the deck. 2 copies of Twin Twister. You don't need 3 in the deck. You side 3 for every matchup that plays humongous amounts of back row, but more or less you're just going to be blowing Pendulum Scales with this, and you're using it to set up your graveyard. Because you have to remember, most zombies do more in your graveyard than they would in your hand. 1 Foolish, this deck needs every way to set up the graveyard possible. 1 Soul Charge. Zombies love this card. I do play 1 Field Spell. This card is not that great. However, it is searchable through Smith, and it does put stuff back in your graveyard, and it also gives you a free body on the field if you need it. So it's a really it's an interesting field spell. I think it would have been better if it could have been any zombie that wasn't 0 defense, but just any zombie in general to put back. Because using this card to put Mizuki back would be insane. But it has a limitation, but it targets all the Shiranui stuff, so it gives you free monsters. And then 1 Gold Sark. Any Shiranui you banish with this gets its effect triggered through Gold Sark, so it seems like an obvious card to play. And on to traps, I don't play a lot. I do play 3 of the archetype-specific traps, Shiranui Swallow Slash. This is the best card that they have released. So what it does is you tribute a zombie-type monster, and then you target 2 cards in the field and destroy it. This in tandem with Spirit Master. When a Spirit Master is banished, you can target 1 face-up card in the field. So this turns your Icarus attack into a Fire Lake, which is really good, and it's a searchable Fire Lake. The only downside is if you don't have Shiranuis in the deck, you can't activate the card. So that's the only downside. And then we don't play real back row. We play 4 holes. We'll play a Bottomless, a Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare, and 2 Time Space. And that's because we play Rafflesia. Because more or less, I found it's like the biggest disadvantage in most cards is that they're being trap cards, so they're inherently slow. But Rafflesia kind of alleviates that problem because Rafflesia just sends them straight from the deck, so it acts as a trap. So these were the best ones I thought to play, so that's why I went with. And then we play the 1 Warning because it's at 1, and I feel like it's the best one of 2 play as a trap. That's the main deck. On to your extra. If I can get to it. We play the 1 Norden. Zombies love this card, but I only have room for 1 because your extra deck space is kind of tight, but you just kind of go with it. We play 1 Shiranui Samurai Saga. He's just a generic 6. His effect is kind of lackluster, but really what you do, use him in medium to go into the level 8 guy, which is surprisingly good, but a generic zombie 6 to go into is really good. I do play 1 Revive King Hades. This deck can't naturally make it because it doesn't play Plague Spreader, but you can make it through Spectral Sword. But for those who played Zombies, Revive King Hades has a really neat effect. When zombie-type monsters attack, effects cannot be negated until the end of the damage step. So it stops the Cosmos spaceships and stuff like that, and your Shogun Saga gets really big when you make it. The only other generic 6 I play is 1 Goyo Guardian because it's just a big level 6 body. I play 2 7s. I play 1 Clearwing, and I play 1 Black Rose. I thought these 2 were the best generic level 7s to play. Field nuking and protecting your big level 8 synchros and stuff like that's really good. I do play 1 Stardust Spark Dragon. This card's a really good generic 8. It's just when it can protect itself, but I also side Dragon's Bind in my my side deck. So this card plus Dragon Bind is basically the Vanity's Emptiness lock, and I like that a lot. The new level 8 Synchro Shiranui Shogun Saga. This card, when it's Synchro Summoned, all the Shiranui cards also share the same thing, the Synchros at least, that they can only special summon once per turn. But whenever this card's special summoned, you can special summon this off Mizuki, or you can summon it off Spirit Master, which is really neat. You can banish a zombie-type monster in your graveyard, and then it gains the original attack of that monster until the end of the turn. So you can get this guy really big in a turn. You can make him... So far I've done 5,500. I've thought about playing 2 and cutting 1 of the Omegas, because this card honestly just lets you OTK your opponent really... it's a really good card. That, and when you banish it, you can target 1 of your banished Shiranui monsters, or banish zombie monsters, actually, and you can put it back in your graveyard, so it recycles your cards as well, so this card's really good. 1 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This is by far my favorite 8 that's been released in a very long time. It's just a field nuke, and it burns, and being a big 3k body is huge. We do play 2 Omega. This by far is probably the best generic 8 we've had in a long time. Plus, putting Mizuki's back so you can reuse them during your turn again is really good. To be perfectly honest, though, I don't know if I continue to play 2. I might cut one for a second Shogun Saga, because the second Shogun Saga is like Shogun Saga is like surprisingly good in zombies. I didn't think it was that great of a card, but then when I actually read it, compared it, it's like and actually used it, it's a really good card. And that's all the synchros that I play. Onto the XYZs. I play one Abyss Dweller to turn off the graveyard. One Kistel because it's the best generic 4. Diamond Direwolf. It's my favorite XYZ, and it goes really well with Kistel. And then the one Rafflesia. A lot of the times I open... Sorry, I'm still trying to get over a cold. But a lot of the times I'll go turn 1 Omega Rafflesia, and then I have the Omega that can dodge, and then also put cards back. And then I also have the Rafflesia like to protect my cards by sending the holes to the graveyard. So it's like it's real good against pendulums, and like this is honestly like a very like it's Castel is to me is still the best generic 4, but this could make a strong case to be probably the best generic 4 because you can play it in any deck for 2/4s. It's a good turn 1 card to go to, and just you can play so many cards with it. Like your opponent has to be wary of being treacherous. They have to be wary of being time space, bottomless. Like just so many cards. Like I can go on about this card for hours, but that was my Shiranui Zombie deck profile. Always remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will be bringing you some duel matches. I have some recorded. I haven't been feeling that great lately, and the deck profiles are easier to do than the matches. So I will actually try to upload those probably tonight, actually. But like I said, guys, thank you for tuning in, and thanks for all the subscriptions.